guys, it's Vesper Starwolf here with another video, and don't mind the new paws. My friend gave me these, and so since Vesper doesn't really have just paws, I'm wearing them for this video. So I might not look it, but I am a huge fan of horror movies, and one of my favorite franchises is Hellraiser. Look, I even have a pin of Pinhead. So, me and my friend recently watched through all of the Hellraiser movies. 'Twas kind of a doozy. But the other day they just released the newest one, and I leached off of my brother's Hulu account to watch it with my friend. So we did that, and I just want to share some of my thoughts about it. So for those who don't know, Hellraiser is a horror movie franchise from like the 80s about a puzzle box that is used to summon a demonic species called the Cenobites, who are under the reign of the demon Leviathan. It's very adult, so you know. And admittedly, the first two movies were really good, but after that, they kind of lost their form. I think the original creator left between the second and third one. I could be wrong. And the series has gone through horrible copyright things, but I'm not getting into that in this video. The newest one is kind of a reboot, but it doesn't follow the original plot lines, but the original creator has returned for this movie. So it's actually really high up there on good. I genuinely think it's good, but I mean, it's still not the best. On its worst days, admittedly, the Hellraiser movies are not good. On their best days, they are mediocre at best. And on the worst days, they're terrible. But I do love the series, and I find even the bad movies fun to watch and enjoy. That being said, how is this new one? So the new one follows the character of Riley, great name by the way, after her brother goes missing, and you know, since she is a drug addict, she witnessed something but no one really believes her, and she's trying to investigate the disappearance of her brother, which we all know is because he got poked by the puzzle box and the Cenobites took him away to hell, because that's what they do. Pain and pleasure and all that. I don't want to get too much into it because this will be a more spoiler-free review. But if you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend watching it. So as I said, genuinely this was a good Hellraiser movie. It's not groundbreaking or like super amazing, but you know, I would recommend to at least give it a try and watch it once. While the plot line was on par for other Hellraiser movies and thus didn't really do anything super new or exciting, the effects and everything was really good, but also you have to remember that the other movies are older, so they're not up to par with what we know today. But yeah, I really like the effects and the makeup. The Cenobites still looked really cool, but it was kind of weird because they kind of took away their like black clothing looking stuff, and they just made it skin. So they were technically like naked all the time, which for the Cenobites, that's pretty in character, but they looked almost too cyborg-like. They've always kind of looked very unearthly, but they looked more robotic in my opinion. And the puzzle box itself, I really liked how they did it, because in other previous installments of the franchise, they made a big deal about people trying to solve the puzzle box, but literally they just would like open it, twist it a bit and shut it again, and that would open it. But in this movie, they actually had to solve it and put pieces together, and then it would change shape, and they would have to solve it again. And I really liked that concept. I thought that was good for it. And like I said, the effects were good. And, you know, I didn't feel like I was watching bad CGI like some of the other movies. The one thing I didn't really like about the movie is that the Cenobites characters themselves were a bit different than how they normally behave, which isn't bad, but I kind of prefer how they used to be portrayed in the older movies. In the other movies, the Cenobites didn't necessarily go after anyone who would solve the puzzle box. I think it's a quote from Pinhead in one of the movies, maybe the first or second, I'm not quite sure, but he says it is not the hands that call them, it is the desire. So someone could be forced to do the puzzle box by someone else, but the Cenobites wouldn't kill the person that did the puzzle because they didn't want to. They would go after the person who forced the other to open the puzzle box because that person was the one who wanted it opened. In this new movie, they do a different take where it doesn't matter who opens the puzzle box, because when they did the puzzle, a blade would shoot out. And if the blade made someone bleed, then they would go after the person who had fed it, essentially. And that means, if a person opens it and they didn't get cut, they wouldn't be the victims of the Cenobites, and they could use that blade on someone else, and then that person would be the one that they went after. Which, it's fine as a concept. Like I said, it was much more unique to me that the Cenobites before, they weren't necessarily mindless killers that went after anyone, whereas in this newer movie, it felt more like that. I don't know. It's probably not that big of a deal, and like I said, the movie was fine, but I think how the Cenobites' mindsets were in the other movies, I kind of really liked that, because it was different than how most killers in movies are just mindless and they go after anyone. So that's one thing that I missed about the old movies. And other than that, it was really good. I know there have been a lot of complaints that there is a trans woman who is now playing Pinhead, and I think it's dumb that people are complaining, because I think she did great. And also, in the original book, The Hellbound Heart, that the first movie is based off of, because it is based off of a book by Clive Baker. The original Hell Priest in that movie, because their name was not Pinhead. That is a fan-made name that eventually made it into the movies. So the original Hell Priest was an androgynous being that had a more feminine voice. So technically, this new Pinhead in the newest movie is a lot more accurate to the source material than the previous one. Even though I can't remember his name right now, but even though he made an amazing Pinhead, and it was very sad to see him leave the franchise. But anyway, if you like scary movies, good or bad, I do highly recommend you check it out. It's just a fun 2 hours to kill. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, when I will have such sights to show you.